Morning everyone. Well, today we've got a new start on a new project, and that's going to be the thumb for the excavator. It's a bunch of steel here that's going to sort of turn into that. This is some heavy shit. I can't even bloody pick it up, but that's 12 mil, and this will be the actual template. I'll rough one out a bit better than that, but that'll be the basics of it, and it'll come in. I just slid this pin out. I was going to take it on this pin, but to clear all of this and this and this and that, it's all going to be quite hard. So I'm going to take it off this pin, which is quite good, but it'll sit like that, and basically it'll fold up. Oh, this one's a bit flimsy. It'll fold up and sit up like that. Try and get a back view of it, and that'll fold down. Apologies if that wasn't really too good on the wide angle, because I can't get there. But anyway, that's that. So I'll do a time lapse of cutting everything out and blah blah blah. But here's the update on the truck. I've got the sides on. These fold down, and actually I want to show you this welding. Now, this is the hitch that I had to change in order to get onto the new machine. So that's where the pins were. You can see on the inside there. And I just bought these collars, which are really handy, and weld them on. Now, that's not bad welding, eh? That's done with gasless MIG. I'm quite happy with that. And I used this on a job the other day, and I drilled 220 holes with a 6mm auger. It was 7 hours of drilling non-stop, pretty much, and there's not a crack in this or any point of it looking like it was going to you know, sort of give up. But it was really easy to do. All I did, I just sliced off straight down there and then just relocated it in new places. So yeah, so that's that. Ramps are all built. They came up really well. I'm really happy with those. The welding in there as well is pretty good. Bit slaggy, but you know, hey, nothing's breaking. And then I had to redo, or basically make, all of this railing up underneath the deck, and I'll just show you how that slides up in there. But basically it slides right up to this mud flap, this front flap, and then the rear one, I don't know if you remember, but it had a mud flap like that on this side, and I basically cut that off and made just a frame with that one to sit on, because the ramps sit in here, and I'm yet to just throw some rubber on the bottom of this, just a flexible rubber. So yeah, now the pins that I use are just 4140 20mm or 19mm pins, and this one there is longer, obviously, because that goes through the top, through the rail, and then drops into there, and it actually locks the ramps in. So we'll just see if I can do this one-handed. No, I can't. Hang on a moment. put you where? Put you here. So really easy to do. And that's it, it's in. And then obviously I throw that pin in and that locates down into there and they don't slide out. So looking underneath, that's now the rail. Nice amount of clearance on the old mud flat. Comes right up to the front here and just sits up on the mud flap, so it sort of stops it sliding in and out and side to side anyway. But it's pretty I mean, they don't rattle around, you can't hear them sort of banging around and that kind of crap. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Now the other thing I did was I made these tail gates, flaps, gates, whatever you want, and they just basically sit in, the other one comes in. So they're really handy to you know, just get out of the way. And what I did here was a double hinge so that they can fold right out of the way when I'm loading and unloading, and they can also fold right up in there as well if I just need an open end. So yeah, quite handy. And they just basically lock together with that, just a nice long pin, and they just lock in with that, and they don't move or rattle around either. So that's all good. So yeah, no, I'm really happy with those. The ramps probably could have been longer, but that's why I was trialling these 2 bits of wood, and that just sort of gives me a bit more of a better angle to play with. When they're down, they are quite steep. They're about 18-19 degrees. Bringing it up there, it's about 16 degrees. So you know, it makes life just a little bit nicer when you're unloading. But I mean, it's not a major, you get it on and off really easily. The machine will do it. So you know, to put those blocks under, it's not a major. I don't mind throwing them on the bed, I can use them later on. But yeah, so there it is. We will carry on, and I'm going to skin this with just 0.8 steel and just rivet it on, and that'll be just for the likes of sign writing and things like that. And my tie downs come down through here, through these holes and onto the rails when I tie the machine down. So that's good. Truck wise, a little bit rolly. I'm wondering if the springs have been sort of abused in the past. You know, that helper there on the bottom, the overload spring is, in my mind, should be a bit further away from that. But you know, and then when you're on, there's actually two overloads there. There's another one underneath it, you can see. So I may look at you know, throwing another spring in. I don't think it would hurt, or possibly that bump stop when the machine's on the truck. That bump stop is touching that frame, but it's not even squashed all the way. So you know, the springs aren't getting smashed right down to their limit. But I may go with a solid bump stop so that I'm sitting directly on axle. I don't know. I need to talk to a suspension guy. I just want to take a bit more sway out of the equation. So there it is. Okay, so that's the update. I've currently got the dash in pieces trying to get the stereo going. I did get it going. It was actually the 24 to 12 volt voltage reducer and what had happened. It wasn't actually working, but one of the capacitors had popped. It wasn't that one, it was this one. You can see she's not healthy. She let the smoke out. So I robbed another one from I don't know, some piece of circuit board I had lying around, and it was close enough that I put it back in and away she goes, so it's not a problem. The speakers are really crap. The stereo's got no Bluetooth on it, so I'm going to turf that and put a nice double din system in. Something with GPS on it probably, but anyway, let's get on to making some sparks. Alright, get to work. Okay, so we had a bit of hilarity. The old plasma cutter won't do 12mm. They reckon it will. Liars. Anyway, okay, so that's him there. A few rocks. Get those out later. Get those out now. Right. Okay. So that's it there. There'll be obviously teeth on here, and that will sit down past that point. So I want it so that this edge here, if I'm picking up branches and I need to break them, I can break them on here just by bucketing up or bucketing in. Now the other thing is that for that to sit straight, we're right in the middle of him tooth, which I knew would be there, so what we need to do is come down, bend out, and then straighten up again, which I may just do because it's going to need to be a fairly accurate bend. I may just cut halfway like I've done before and I've never had an issue. Cut halfway, bend it, and then scarf it out and then weld it, and then fill weld it, and that works really well. I haven't had an issue with that. So yeah, so there it is. I'll get to making. It's taken me about an hour and a half to cut that out. It's not easy stuff to work with, but we're getting there. I think that'll look good. Once we fold up, we're going to be, I don't know if you can see that, we're going to be up here somewhere. It'll be out probably a little bit more than that, so it'll be, we'll be sitting about there when we're up, so that'll be good. Yeah, I don't know how much of that you can see. Anyway, alright, so we'll come back when I've made the other one. Alright, so there's both of them cut. I've tacked them together. It's a just makes it easier to match them up and grind them, and just trying to figure out where the hole for the strut pin will go, and I think about there. So that's sort of, and these are heavy. As that comes up, that'll sit in a bracket about there. And then yeah, come back down. And what I want to do on this one is I'm going to be using this box section as my strut, because I was forever bending struts on the other one, and I reckon if I bend that, I'm doing pretty well. So what I want to do is have that, put a mark just on the other side here, about there. So what I want to do is have that an exact sort of mark 45, so that I'm going to basically pull the pin out of the top and slide the whole lot up like that, or to there, and then put another pin up top, so that when I want to bring the thumb down, I just pull that pin at the top and it slides down and basically clicks in, throws another pin in, because I was really tired of changing pins and pulling pins in the strut, you know, that came out and then you'd take it away and blah blah blah. So yeah, I'm trying to eliminate all that, but that's what you get with Mark II. So alright, so I need to these are where my bends are going to be, so a cut and then a cut on the other side, and then that will bend out and then that will bend in. So sorry, it'll be a cut on the inside and then it'll be a cut on the outside. So yeah, so that's all good. We'll do that and tack them up and have a look at my angles and make sure we're good to go. We're running out of day here, so only took about an hour and a half to make the second thumb, so not too bad. Okay, I'll come back soon. Morning everyone. I don't know where we got to yesterday. It got a little bit dark and rainy and I just kind of gave up. So we've got that set up there. I'm pretty happy with that. I need to weld up these cuts, which is nice and easy. I just got to make sure that they don't bend too much with the heat. I've got the just as a spacer here for the minute, but what I did do this morning was on this arm here, in order to get it central on the dipper here, is that this collar, I actually cut that off and cleaned that up, and I'll re-weld that back onto the thumb arm, and you know, and put that pin back through with the same configuration, so that'll look quite good. And then on the other side, I'm not sure what I'll do there. I might just put a collar on. Now this pin I actually robbed out of my slasher. Just mute him, shut up. I actually robbed it out of my slasher because I've got to put a new pin in here anyway. So what I may do is just end up cutting one of these off and utilising those, because there's no stock of these at the moment anywhere, so I've got to wait for stock to come in, so I might as well chop that off and reuse it. On the other side, I may even repaint it. So that's where we're at. I'll get those welded up, and now what I did do was kind of threw a couple of calculations at it, and this bend was a straight bend, and then this bend was a bend to kick it over a little bit, and the reason that I've done that is to keep this top end, and it's all of about 10 millimeters or 3/8 difference, you know, over the length of it between the bottom and the top, but you know, that'll sort of help, I think, with a bit of grip on rocks or trees, or you know, Bob's your auntie. So anyway, we'll carry on with that, get those welded up, and make some progress. Okay, so there's the result of that. Probably a little bit hot, but that's alright. We'll get the heat in there, get it dealt to. And they didn't move at all, so that'll be fine. They might have moved a smidge, but when it cools it'll probably come back. Oh, I could be talking out a hole in my head. Okay, I'll bring it back soon. Alright, so I was getting a little bit miffed with cameras, so I just got on with the job, but there we are. We've still got a little bit of welding to do here and there. Let's give you a bit of a close-up. And the phone's ringing. And we're back. Okay, so I still want to weld some teeth on here. I'm sort of debating. I might, I mean, these are, you know, 12mm steel, so pretty grunty, but I may get some flat bar and actually cut and then just tack that on, and then when they wear out I could just cut those off and replace them. So anyway, I need to weld the collars on here. I need to go and get the other one, but that's it up in its upstate. I've got these pins down in here. This pin will stay, this pin will stay full time. This pin is the one you pull. So I'll just do that. I'll put you down. You can't see it very well. Hang on. Okay. Alright, so we pull that pin. I need to trim the pin. Yes, just a smidge long. And that's it, and it's downstate, so I'm hoping that strut will be strong enough. It's certainly beefier than the other one, but I actually tried the thumb out, and I mean, I just literally smashed that bit of 2x4. I just crushed it. Oh, sorry, that's a probably 50 by 60 by 60. So anyway, I'll hold that up so you can see it going up. Just need to trim that pin. Just slightly. Little trick. And there it is, and I'll drill a hole in that and put a clip on it. But and the other thing I want to do is, I've got this bit of rubber, and I'll just set that bit of rubber and I'll rivet it on, just to stop that banging on there, and that'll be fine. So yeah, so just a final bit of welding here and there, put some welding in there and just, you know, clean those up, and then I'll shoot off and go and get some more flat bar, and I can cut some teeth and just tack those on. But I had to scarf this out and accommodate for these, which I trimmed back about 5mm, just to give me a bit more accommodation, and likely in here as well, so just to stop hitting on here. It's ever if I wanted to get a longer strut and you know, and there, you know, I'm tired. So yeah, that's it. I'll do some grinding, I'll do some painting, and I'll bring you back when we're doing a bit of a test. Okay.